O you tive of the memories of the past, I come to you, I beloved children of the light. In the preparation of the months just ahead, transformations in you and your world will take place. Because of the service which this beloved messenger rendered me in a time past, the law has so regulated it that now I may render a service to the I am students, the children of America. I once knew what it meant to be set upon in an unguarded moment by that which you have come to know as the sinister force, which is but the destructive qualities of human creation. Often those qualities are seized upon by individuals who have failed on the pathway of light, and they wield that force for destructive purposes. I was one of the victims because of being off guard at the time. Now notice this carefully, beloved ones, because it means everything in your future. I had maintained life in my body for more than 500 years when this occurrence took place, but I thought I had won the victory over the condition that then existed. 441. For nearly 70 years of that time, I had been on guard against the group of black magicians who were trying to catch me off guard. It was easy for me to win the battle and govern the condition, but when I was too sure of myself, not realizing that they had not accepted the victory I had won, I unknowingly let down the guard. There was a long period in which I lived in the condition that was imposed upon me. Then from your beloved North America, one who lived in the civilization before this occurred came to me in the Andes Mountains, and in a few weeks, again my victory was complete. My ascension followed quickly, and no longer was I subject to the conditions of the physical world and its limitations. Why am I explaining this to you tonight? So you may understand, beloved students, that never until your ascension should you ever be off guard for one moment. In the acknowledgement of your mighty I am presence, remember your higher mental body is the guard which you can call into action to stand guard over you and your world forever. Your higher mental body never sleeps, never forgets, and when you have called it into action to stand guard or do certain things for you, it will always do so and remain in its perfect action. If your feeling remains harmonious so that the power can flow through at any moment to render the service. These are simple and majestic laws of life which every one of you can use if you will, but if you believe they are half-truth, you will have half results. If you believe they are wholly true and accept that in your feelings, then you will understand and have the full blessings for which you ask. Beloved ones, these great beings of light are those who know the laws of life, who have passed through human experience as you are doing, and know every detail of the requirement of every individual. Today, their service being rendered to mankind, and especially America at this time, is the most wonderful thing ever known in the history of the earth. You, in the comfort of your homes, in the comfort of these large auditoriums, are having brought to you the limitless power of light. Why do you suppose that a great cosmic being gave me this name, the Goddess of Light? Because I am the victory of light. I had to release myself from the condition which had been imposed upon me. Do not shudder when I say this lasted for 300 years, because I had maintained life in that body and I could not pass through so-called death. I had to remain in that body until I could release myself. Then my ascension came. Do you realize, beloved students, that in those earlier centuries the outer world knew nothing of the ascension? Not always within the retreats was the ascension made known, except to certain individuals who the great ascended masters saw could accomplish the victory of the ascension. Even in the midst of other students, these individuals moved about. They would disappear and even the students did not know what had occurred. That was because of the secrecy of the time. It is why in those earlier ages, the truth as Saint Germain has presented it to you could not be given, because people would have been burned at the stake. Think. Through the ages you have lived through all of it yourselves. There is a blessed gentleman here in the auditorium who lived in that civilization when this condition in South America was imposed upon me. He has naturally great healing power in the currents from his presence. I speak to his heart my love, my strength, and my consciousness into his feeling world, to lift him into the glory of his victory and attainment. May I remind you that again tonight the great divine director has enclosed you in the great globe of light drawn from the cave of light in India. Only in a lesser degree than were you to walk into the cave of light are you having its blessing and benefit tonight. Dear, beloved ones, try to comprehend in the feeling just what this means. To the intellect it may sound unusual, but not to the heart, which knows it is real. Therefore, in this great light which enfolds you tonight is this radiance, consciously brought and directed to enfold you by the conscious direction of the mighty divine director. So shall you have blessings your intellect would not comprehend at this time, but try to accept it in your feeling. This is real, very real, and this light substance which enfolds you, beloved ones, is more real than your very physical bodies, which seem so tangible and real to you. More and more intense has become the activity of this light substance tonight, and it will continue as the messengers go forth in each class. When the victory of the light comes fully and completely, and the great number of students see the glory of which they have been a part, oh, do you realize your joy will know no bounds? It is so magnificent, beloved ones. These are not imaginary things. Just because you have not seen some great manifestation in your own personal experience, please do not become discouraged and think your application does not operate. If you for any reason have not been able to call forth the full power, just go right on with your application. I say to you tonight, there is not a person sitting in this room who cannot call forth his mighty I Am presence with infinite power, to release anything your blessed hearts desire which is constructive. There is no question about it. If you do not, it is either a lack of confidence within you, or something that is acting in your feeling world, which is still requalifying this energy as it goes forth. Remember, when you begin to call forth the light of your presence, you are taking on certain responsibility. If you will not give obedience or compel your human to give obedience, which is harmony in your feelings, then when you call forth a greater volume of energy, if there be disturbance in your feeling, your disturbance will take on a more intensified volume of activity because it is a greater quantity charged with that quality. The choice is yours. The messengers have explained this so constantly that if you realize it, you will see the necessity of allowing nothing in your world to disturb your feelings. That is why I am here to render this service for you tonight, in connection with the great divine director, because of the intensity, now notice, of the point to which you have raised yourselves by your application. Beloved ones, you do not imagine, you do not realize yet what your application has done for you. There are many in this room tonight who are ready to step forth free. In this class, or during it, I am sure they will be wholly set free from their own human accumulation. It is a magnificent thing. You may not realize it, but the great beings, Saint Germain, and many of us know your calls very well. We have heard every one of them, and no earnest, sincere call ever goes unrewarded. Will you remember that, beloved children of the light? No sincere call can ever go unrewarded. Why? Because what makes the call? Your life, is it not? Could you make a call without the action of your life? Then, that call is your life, calling for complete freedom within the human form. Therefore life, the power of the universe, being itself, must answer your call in the human form. Do you not see how it is impossible for your call not to be answered? If there is some qualification going on in your feeling world which is still qualifying the energy that you call forth, the fault is not in your call, the fault is not in the energy which is going forth. The fault is in your feeling requalifying it. You are given a choice as to how you wish to govern it. There is not one who cannot govern his feelings if he really wants to. When you want the light, when you want your freedom more than you want your breath, then you will have it. Oh, you must mean business in your call for freedom in the light, because of your long accumulated qualities which have been governing you. Therefore remember, for thousands of lives you have accumulated more or less discord. Today in, so short a time, you are able by the use of the violet consuming flame to call to the presence, to reverse everything in all the currents of life which have acted, to dissolve and consume your mistakes, discordant qualities, and accumulations. Then, turning to the presence, hold harmony in your feelings and let the power, the purity and perfection which is the life stream flowing down from the presence, take its full dominion in you and your world. In its great volume of purity and perfection, it produces perfect health in your body at once, and goes out into your world to produce such harmony that everything you desire comes quickly into manifestation. What is your sincere, constructive desire? God in action. Look at this jewel on the hand of the messenger. As a lad he desired with all his heart a single jewel of that kind. After desiring it so long, he thought it was no use and stopped. The desire went on, and when he had completely forgotten about it, it manifested. Beloved ones, I could take you one by one and cause you to look back just through the experiences of this lifetime and show you, by the hundreds, your desires which were fulfilled, but you do not realize it. You accept these things and go on, not even recognizing that they were former desires being fulfilled today. Many times, past impulses and intense desires have become the compulsions of this embodiment. You see, beloved ones, how marvelously you were acting within the law hundreds of times, and yet, not knowing the presence, not knowing what was going on, you took it for granted that it was a matter of course. You have often thought, well, it just happened. There is not a thing that just happens anywhere in this universe. Everything has a definite cause and produces a definite result. Therefore, beloved ones, you are entering into a great stream of life which carries in its stream only glorious perfection. You, in your purity, are working for your full release. Step by step you are rising out of all conditions of your own creation, and one day you will stand wholly free. Make no mistake about it. You will know at the instant you feel yourself free from all accumulations. Will you try to feel with me for a few moments what it would mean to you to suddenly be fully conscious that every condition which has ever limited, or bound you was suddenly released and dissolved, that you could go forth in the morning, making your call to the presence, and have your manifestation within a few hours or few days, whatever you call for? Will you feel this just for a few moments and try to register it in your feeling world, as I pour forth the energy to you? I want to give you the assistance, so you feel within your feeling world my power of victory and consciousness. The light with which I enfold you within this great globe of light which the Divine Director has provided, is a current of energy flowing into you, into your feeling world, and that energy I am giving to you. It is yours, but it will act in you with my power of light. May I repeat this to you so you may understand it fully? This light which I am giving to you is my current of energy charging into your feeling world. It is yours, but it acts with my quality and power of light to produce perfection for you. Try to feel this deeply if your body is not as strong and healthy as you would like to have it. This which I am giving you tonight, if you will give attention to it and feel it, accepting its cleansing, purifying, healing power into your bodies, will fill you with health as you call to your presence. Do not make a mistake about this. Do not just depend on this energy which I am giving you. I am giving it because you are making earnest, sincere call to your mighty I Am presence. The law would not permit it otherwise. Therefore, do not just look to the energy which I am giving, but make your earnest, sincere application in the call to your presence. Then this energy will give you the assistance that makes you the victorious presence quickly in your health, in your supply of money or whatever is required. Mankind is no longer subject to the selfishness and destruction of groups or individuals. Will you not feel the power of your presence to correct all such conditions? Oh, I understand quite well, having been a part of many governments. I know quite well what is going on in your government today, and how things are trying to be imposed upon your people, but do not be dismayed at these conditions. As you, a body of more than 400,000 students, issue these decrees, do you think for one moment that you cannot regulate the conditions, even in the requirements of the government? This energy is law. This energy from your presence, this law called forth into action is divine justice. It will act to produce divine justice everywhere, even in your government. Do not yield and waver an instant in your decrees for divine justice in your government, for mankind and in your industries. It shall reign in America. And if you will stand with us in your call, I tell you, divine justice shall reign in your government. Then if individuals in those positions do not render it, then those will be placed in their positions who will give divine justice to her people. Do not yield for 1 second to the present conditions which exist. In some ways they are chaotic, but I tell you, the power of light shall reign in America. What has happened so recently? Follow this carefully if you will. In the beginning of this work the great being, Victory, came forth at the royal Teton and issued certain edicts for the earth. Then, the goddess of liberty came forth into action. Today by the great law of life, I have been called forth into action, to produce in the earth the all-powerful activity of the threefold flame. This mighty power of the threefold flame represented in the royal Teton shall take its victory in America, and shall draw into its mighty power everything undesirable, and such things shall be no more. Try to feel that, beloved students, in your future application. Remember, victory, the goddess of liberty, and myself form the focus at your call upon the power of the unfed flame, the threefold flame for the earth. One day, we trust not so long hence, it will come forth visible to every human being, and when that comes, America will lose all her troubles. In every age when the victory of light comes forth, the constructive activity of the unfed flame comes into visibility at some point upon that landed area. The great presence of life has said to mankind in all languages, in all ages, you shall hold your peace and I will fight your battles for you, for I have weapons ye know not of. That is what the great law of life has said to humanity in every age. Today in your life there is the fulfilling of that mighty decree sent forth in every age, because enough obedience is being given by mankind today to allow its release to come forth. There is not one earnest, sincere, I am student in America or the world today who, if he will listen and apply these simple things which are given, could not produce perfect health in the body in from a few days to a few weeks. If he would call the currents of healing energy to charge in and through his body, with the same force he does when he becomes very angry, he would have results. I ask you to observe your own experience. Do you not have plenty of energy when you get very angry? Every one of you, it does not make any difference how frail the body, when you get very angry, can move mountains. Therefore, exert that same energy on the side of light and perfection and you will have the same and perhaps 1,000 times greater result, because that is in cooperation with the law of life, which is harmony and perfection. Do you not see, the only reason limitations exist in the world is because mankind has refused to give obedience. Look at myself who had such wisdom, wielded such power, because I had not yet made the ascension, still could I make a mistake by being off guard for one moment. This should be a lesson to all mankind. But no one, once he has made the ascension, can ever be off guard, for the ascension is the only means, beloved ones, of freeing yourselves from the wheel of birth and rebirth. Do you not think mankind has wandered around long enough in the maze of human creations? It has done this for hundreds and thousands of centuries and lives. You should be greatly interested in this. Up until 100 years ago, it was a rare thing for an individual to embody under 100 years from the time he had let go of his previous body, and sometimes much longer, but in the last 100 years, mankind are embodying very much more quickly. Need I remind you that every power you are using today is an invisible power? The currents of electricity through the wires which light your homes are invisible. You see the generator, you see the effect, but you do not see the current pass through, do you? But you can feel it. Now notice. You do not see this mighty current of energy from your presence, but you can feel it with infinite power. Therefore, I say to you again, the power of every magnificent force that you are using in your outer world today is invisible. You accept its use and think nothing about it, but if your attention is suddenly called to these things, you sometimes stand in amazement that you have not given them attention before. I say to you, like your beloved Saint Germain, who has called your attention to this great presence of all life, the mighty I Am, and the ascended masters, how would you know a thing without your attention upon it? Many thousands of students today, when they first heard the messengers and the mention of the ascended masters, rebelled like fury. They said, it cannot be. If such beings exist, why do we not know it? How did you ever know of anything unless your attention was held upon it? In your schoolwork, in your business today, would you know anything about them unless your attention were held upon them? If you did not have your attention upon your own business, you would probably be attending to someone else's. Do you not see the magnificent power which comes through the concentration of your life energy on any given objective upon which it is focused? Therefore, you become the authority of your world by the acknowledgement of your mighty I Am presence, and the conscious direction of its mighty currents of energy, through harmony, into your feeling world. Therefore, beloved ones, remember from this night henceforth, that you have anchored within your hearts the light of infinite power and intelligence which is your mighty I Am. You are a part of that great intelligence and presence acting here. You have its power beating your hearts, acting within your human forms, which you can intensify until it floods your being, world, and government with its harmonious presence and power. It is light, in which there is nothing of human creation that dare attempt to resist it. Do you see how you are dealing with a power of light which is all authority? It brooks no interference of any kind. All you have to do is keep your feelings harmonized and call it forth into action, and there is no limit to which it will act for you under that condition. Will you accept your freedom now, and with a determination you have never before experienced, face your human self and compel it into obedience to this law of life? What is obedience? Compelling it to be harmonious. That is all it has to do. Then the currents of energy from the presence will flow forth, produce health in the body, harmony in your achievement and perfection in your attainment and any condition to which the attention is directed. In my capacity I have been assisting governments into the height of their perfection. How did that come about? By this identical law and action of energy. Long before my ascension I understood this law, and that is why nothing could harm me, until I was off guard. It is why there is nothing of human creation that can harm you or limit you, unless you are off guard or refuse to make sufficient application. Beloved ones, realize once and forever, every human being is compelled to make his own application to his own final victory. There are times when you should have assistance, when you can and do have assistance, but when you call for assistance, do not let down on your own application. We see among the students today many who, because of the pull of the attention onto outer things, do not give themselves the needed time to make the application which holds sustained harmony about them, so that in their call the presence will send its power forth untouched, in its purity and perfection, to perform the service which would be intense. Why does the messenger have such tremendous accomplishment in one mighty decree today? Because he no longer has the human accumulation. He no longer has inharmony in his feeling world to clothe the energy as he calls it forth. That is why it goes forth in its own purity whereunto it is sent. You may, everyone, do the same thing. You must realize the power of momentum, which means the continuous carrying of power from your presence. It would be better if you did not gather it, than not to balance it by self-control in the human octave. You must face the law of life, and I am prompting you. When you call forth power of the presence in a greater volume, you must balance it in the physical octave by self-control in your feeling world, and everyone can do it. In our great love, and as many others have said to the students, we see the nearness of the victory of so many of the I am students of America. I mean also the many who have not thought their application was producing results. Oh, if you could see the change in your own world around you, you would never think such a thing. There is not one who has made earnest application in whom there is not a complete transformation in that one's own world. You know definitely the imperative need. The only thing which can give you freedom is harmony continuously maintained in your feeling. It is so easy, just one thing to do. Then as you call the power of your presence forth into action, it will flow out like a mighty river. Of course, it knows no resistance nor interference, and it will accomplish immediately that whereunto it is sent. Remember, beloved ones, your attention held upon an objective of attainment is the power, and releases the currents of energy from your presence, which flood out continuously through your attention, to the objective to accomplish its purpose. Therefore, if you let your attention swing like a pendulum, how is the energy going to find its objective? It is as if you took your hand like this and you directed a force to a certain spot, but if your hand keeps wavering around like that, how could it ever get there? Just so with the power of your attention. Beloved ones, you do not but in a fragmentary manner yet comprehend the power which is in the attention of every human being. It is limitless. When your attention is fixed upon an objective, the full power of the energy from your presence is flowing forth to your objective, and nothing in the world can stop its accomplishment but yourself. When you take your attention off, the energy stops. Let me assure you of this point. When you are acting in a constructive manner and you call forth the energy to go forth to a certain objective, your attention is demanded out here in your activity of the world. Then charge your higher mental body to keep that energy pouring until it is accomplished. Each time you have a few moments, turn your attention back to your objective and let the energy from your presence flow into it. There is not one thing on the face of this earth which you could not achieve quickly. There is not one of you in the room who could not do it. Beloved ones, observe the chart please and see the great presence of life. Think how absurd it is for any human being to actually feel weak, exhausted, or feel inability for any accomplishment. Think of it. Then how does the form feel those limitations? Because it has accepted limitations of the appearance world so long. Mankind has charged the world with the acceptance of limitations of every conceivable kind. But with your attention held to the mighty I Am presence, and understanding that your attention upon an objective in your accomplishment is the imperative need, then you reverse all conditions of the accumulation of the past. You hold them in obedience, if they have not been consumed, and let the energy flow forth to do its work. I am explaining this to you tonight, so you might not feel that just because you may have human accumulation or that you might see limitations, you still cannot acquire this perfection and freedom. It is absolutely within your reach. Therefore, beloved ones, tonight in my earnest, sincere effort to assist you, will you be kind enough to accept my assistance? Let this mighty power of energy operate within your world of action, to produce the results which your hearts crave and which we wish to help you attain. Therefore, in the glory of your great presence of all life, I say to you tonight, stand glorified in the mighty activity of your own mighty I Am presence, and accept first your presence, then all the ascended masters and great beings of light wish to give you, and you cannot imagine what they will do if you are earnest and sincere. Accept the fullness of the power of your presence and the assistance of the great ones. Go forth feeling the full victory of the light acting within you in your world, and you will find that you can lay your hand upon a discordant spot in your body, the pain will cease at once, and the condition will dissolve and disappear. The current which flows through your hand will produce perfection for you. It is light, which dissolves everything unlike itself. If mankind but understood that, every human being would become a mighty power and focus of healing wherever he went, and even the radiance poured forth from him would heal where it passed. Such is the joy and the perfection which is before you. In the fullness of the light which I represent, I call its full power into action to clothe you forever in its transcendent activity, and hold you forever victorious in its light, unto your ascension and eternal freedom. I thank you.